Let's get into the rankings, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start things off with the offensive line, and we'll count you down, by the way. So as we go through these names, of course, they will get better in quality, talent, etc., although they're all talented. But let's get into number 10 in terms of free agent offensive lineman, Cameron Fleming, offensive tackle for the New England Patriots. As the host of the Patriots Report, Harris, you know him very well.
I do, and he's actually been a really good player for them. At least he was this year. He started about 6 games this year for the Patriots. Once Marcus Cannon went down, he was splitting time with Adrian Waddle, but he won the battle, and to be totally honest, he was great in the Super Bowl. He was great throughout the entire playoffs. He did give up that one pass rush, with Brandon Graham and Chris Long that ended up causing the fumble. But look, he's only 25. He's gotten better every single year in the NFL. The Patriots have used him as a third tackle, kind of a swing tackle, especially on run downs. He's been really good for them. I think the Patriots will probably bring him back, maybe install him as the full-time left tackle if they need to, but if a team wants to bring him in as a starter and really pay him, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up leaving the Patriots. You got a couple teams interested, maybe the Bucks, the Giants especially. They're probably interested in every offensive lineman that comes out this year. But
definitely the Bengals too.
Exactly. I think Cameron Fleming would be a good young option for any team, but I would expect the Patriots to try to bring him back. He's a good fill-in starter / low-end right tackle if you need one.
Number 1 offensive tackle in pass blocking efficiency among the free agents out there. So, of course, a smaller sample size, only 191 pass block snaps compared to, for example, Nate Solder's 620.
And I know you always want to pump coaches, but Dante Scarnecchia, the Patriots offensive line coach, if there is going to be like one guy that you can point to say, wow, he's done so well with him, it's Marcus Cannon, who's now the starting right tackle, Cameron Fleming. They got Cameron Fleming in the 6th round out of Stanford, a total project, incredibly raw, and over the course of about 4 to 5 years, he's turned Cameron Fleming into a starting caliber right tackle. It's been really impressive to watch his growth.
Only 25 years young.
Exactly. It's been really impressive to watch his growth. And also, go listen to what David Shaw has to say about him. Got a lot of great things to say about this guy.
All right, so there's Cameron Fleming at number 10 in our offensive line rankings for free agents, a 2017 Pro Football Focus grade of 75.8, might I add. So there he is. At number 10, let's get into the single digits now, and to the guard position we go. Joe Berger of the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings offensive line collectively, Nick Easton and Berger as well, really exceeded expectations. They're pretty darn solid in pass protection this past year, kind of all came undone in that NFC Championship game in case Keenum really struggled. But Berger checks in at number 9, a quality pass protector. The real question here is he's set to turn 36 in May, Harris, so no long-term answer here.
Yeah, not a long-term answer. He's also been kind of a journeyman in his career. He's played for the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Vikings, and the Dolphins a second time. He beat out John Sullivan last year for the starting job this year. Moved him over to guard. Look, he's a solid option, like you said. He is 36, though. He is getting a little bit worse. He had his best year in 2015, but I think he'd be a good fill-in option or a low-end starter if you need someone at guard. He's not going to be one of the best offensive linemen in football, but he's going to be a solid starter for you. He's not going to destroy your O-line. He can fill in really well next to whoever you need him to. Again, someone like the Giants should look into. I think the Seahawks would also be a good fit for him just because they need cheaper options in the offensive line. They don't pay a lot of money for offensive linemen. I think Joe Berger would be a good option for them, kind of matches everything they're looking for.
I think he'd actually be a very nice option for Seattle. They're in a really difficult salary cap situation here, and so they can't go for the Andrew Norwells of the world who are going to be demanding big-time money. So there you go.
And I would also expect the Vikings to try to get younger along the offensive line. They do have a lot of age and a lot of money already on the O-line. Don't be surprised if they try to grab a starting caliber guard in maybe the 2nd or 3rd round to try to fill in a slot. Look, you need those young guys all over the team simply for contract reasons a lot of the time, and I think they're going to go a little bit younger on the O-line.
He was premier run blocker way back in 2015, but he has declined steadily since then, and that's expected, set to turn 36 in May. So there is Joe Berger at number 9 in our rankings here. Let's check in with number 8. We will stay with the guard position. One Josh Kline of the Tennessee Titans. Not the greatest run blocker in the world, Harris, but in terms of pass protection, he was solid.
It's kind of crazy for me to see him on this list because he was on the Patriots for about 3 years, and he was just terrible. Like, so terrible, he became a meme among Patriots fans for being so bad. Then he goes to Tennessee, gets with Mike Mularkey, and ends up becoming a decent guard. Not great, but good enough to be able to, stay on an offensive line and start for the entire season. Had a great year this year, especially in pass protection, only 2 sacks or QB hits in 2017. But like you said, he's a really bad run blocker. And I think that for the Titans, what they look to do on offense, they should be looking to replace him. They need guys on the offensive line that can run block because they're a run-first offense, so they're probably going to be going forward. I'm not a huge Josh Kline fan. I literally cannot get the memories out of my head about how bad he was with the Pats. But again, another low-end guard starter. If you need him to fill in during pass downs, then sure, he can come in and do really well for you. But I don't think it's a consistent option over a course of a season. He's going to be your best option. But again, we talk about cheap options at guard. The Seahawks look for guys like that. I think that the Dolphins being on this list is also really, really good. They need someone, another low-end option that can slot maybe next to, Jajuan James. They do end up bringing him back, or just maybe a Laramie Tunsil if they decide to keep him at tackle. So Josh Kline would be a decent option, but again, I might be the wrong person talking about Josh Kline. I can't get those memories out of my head.
Well, he did have a 97.4 pass blocking efficiency rating, which was 15th best among guards. But, I'm kind of on you, Harris. At 6'3", he's a little undersized for my liking. Maybe he kind of played beyond expectations and was probably more of a product of a generally good offensive line for the Titans last year. So
exactly.
There is Josh Kline checking in at number 8. Let's transition now into number 7 now as we head inside to the center position. John Sullivan of the Rams played pretty darn well, the 13th best pass protecting center this season. A Pro Football Focus grade of 74.6, which is pretty good considering his overall career, but he is 32.
I don't know if this is just a personal thing. I feel like John Sullivan's one of the more named offensive linemen in the NFL. I feel like not the average fan, but I feel like deeper NFL fans know who John Sullivan is. He's just been around for so long. He was on the Vikings for such a long time. John Sullivan's a really good center if you need to slot someone in. And again, it's hard to find good centers in the NFL. We were talking about this before with the San Francisco 49ers bringing back Daniel Kilgore, their center.
Huge, yep.
Look, centers are tough to come by, especially good ones that are going to be consistent over the course of an entire season. John Sullivan's not going to blow you away. We have a 75 overall Pro Football Focus grade, but 927 snaps. Look, you're not going to find that right off the street for any sort of center. I think he's good enough to fill in and start for a team. I think the Bengals would be a good option. They need some veteran leadership on that offensive line. Just get him onto a team to slot him at center and leave him alone. Just let him do his thing. He's not going to be perfect, but at the same time, he's not going to kill you. He's good enough to start.
So John Sullivan is at number 7 in our free agent offensive lineman rankings. Let's go to number 6 now. We'll stay at center. Weston Richburg of the Giants. He's really good when he's healthy.
Yes.
But the key word is when. He did have some injuries last season.
He did have some injuries last season, but if you remember in 2016, he was one of the best overall offensive linemen in football, but no one talked about it because the rest of the Giants' offensive line was so terrible. But
right.
Weston Richburg is really, really good when he's healthy. I think he's going to get pretty underpaid this offseason by a team who's going to say, hey, you're injured, we can't really pay you top dollar. He should be getting paid top dollar, but that injury really took out a lot of his season. But look, I think he's going to end up back with the Giants. They cannot afford to lose him in the center of that offensive line. They need him to be healthy. They drafted him in the 2nd round for a reason. He's a fantastic center. He has repertoire with Eli Manning. So I think they'll end up keeping him. But any team that ends up getting him, if he plays a full season for them, that's a steal, especially at the price that he's going to end up getting paid.
Has only allowed 4 sacks in his 4-year career. So Weston Richburg there at number 6 as we get to the top 5 here. Harris, one more point.
Yeah, one more thing. Got to watch out. He has had concussion problems in his career. And at the center position, concussion problems are not something you want to look at. Ruined Dan Connolly's career for the Patriots. Has ruined tons and tons of offensive linemen in the past. So watch out for those concussion problems.
All right, so let's do it. Get inside the top 5. Let's take a look at offensive tackle Nate Solder. So we talked about Fleming on one side. Let's go to the other side for the Patriots and Solder.
He's been one of the best run-blocking tackles in the NFL for a long time now, but pass coverage has always been, or pass blocking, I should say, has always been a weird mystery for Nate Solder.
He's a little soft.
He is a little soft. Sometimes he's really, really good, and sometimes he's really, really bad. Sometimes it doesn't look like he's completely focused on what's going on. So he's an interesting option for any team. I personally don't think the Patriots are going to end up bringing him back. They kind of drafted his replacement last year in Antonio Garcia out of Troy. I think he's going to get priced out. I think the Colts would actually be a good option. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets signed and maybe moved to right tackle. I'd be a little wary about making him your franchise left tackle. I think that if you look at his career, he's so unbelievably inconsistent. One year he'll be terrible. The next year he'll be fantastic. Next year he'll be awful again. And then you'll have a year like he had in 2016 where they won the Super Bowl against the Falcons. And he was fantastic again. And then this year he's horrible. So you never really know what you're going to get at Nate Solder. That's been his entire career. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots let him go. I think he's still going to get good top money. Look, it's tough to find a lot of tackles in the NFL who have been starting for as long as he has and has experience in Super Bowls. So I think Nate Solder will end up getting picked up, maybe a little bit overpaid, like we saw Matt Khalil get overpaid last year. But I would be surprised if the Patriots bring him back.
Ranked tied for 56th, Harris, in terms of pass blocking efficiency among tackles with 178 plus pass blocking snaps last season. So, I mean, if he's getting the reps, but he's not doing a good job with those reps.
Patriots fans have wanted him out for years because you never really know when he's going to explode. That's the thing with tackles, unless you're like a Joe Thomas, is that if you're playing really, really well, a lot of the times you won't get a lot of heat from fans or you won't really get a lot of attention. But when you're playing bad, it's noticeable. I think Nate Solder was really exploited in a lot of games this year.
So there he is at number 5. Let's take a look at number 4 now, staying at the tackle position. This time we go to right tackle with Jajuan James. He did get hurt back in 2017, but he's still a young guy, will be 26 in June, and one of the better pass protectors out there. I think he actually will be highly coveted in the free agency market, Harris.
Yeah, and the former first-round pick, former all-rookie team for Pro Football Writers of America when he came out. He's a really good player when he's healthy. It's just a matter of when is he going to be consistently healthy. He's played 40 games in his 4-year career so far. So, look, him only being 26, and you're able to pick him up off the free agent market, that's an incredible pickup at his age. But, again, I think he's going to end up getting very overplayed, but I think he's going to end up getting plucked away from Miami. Someone's going to overpay this guy in order to get a stalwart right tackle.
I'm thinking the Texans might.
Texans would be a really good option for him. Also be surprised if Denver tries to go that direction, but obviously they have a lot of other things to deal with the 2 wide receivers and the corners and the quarterback. So we'll see what happens with Jajuan James. But again, he's a former first-round pick. He has played at times like that former first-round pick, and when he plays that well, he's one of the best right tackles in football. But it's all a matter of when is he going to stay on the field.
All right, so Jajuan James has dealt with his fair share of injuries. So has this guy, checking in at number 3, Jack Mewhort, guard / little bit of tackle as well for the Indianapolis Colts. Just one of the many injuries on that front line, by the way. Ryan Kelly got hurt as well, and so it really kind of unraveled for Indianapolis last season. And, Mewhort, outside of last year, is actually a pretty quality lineman.
He is a good lineman, and it's tough with him because he's also very versatile, but at the same time, I think he's pretty inconsistent. He's a good pass protector. I don't think he's fantastic in the run game. You have to be wary when signing him that you could get a really good player at times, but he's also going to miss time. I would be nervous about picking him up. I think he ends up staying with the Colts. I don't know how much money he's going to get on the open market. I think he'll end up getting picked up again and given a decent contract by the Colts. Former second-round pick, same draft actually as Jajuan James in 2014. He was really, really good in college. He's been good in the NFL, but hasn't been quite good to get that crazy amount of money on the free agent market like we've seen some other offensive linemen get. I think Indianapolis is the place for him.
All right, so there is Jack Mewhort at number 3. So let's take a look at number 2 now, and we're really getting into the quality players. Justin Pugh, guard. Now, he faced his fair share of injuries last year, actually earned a poor Pro Football Focus grade. But again, health, he's pretty darn good when it's there.
I blame the Giants for how weird of a career he's had, and I blame them mostly because they keep playing him at tackle. He's not a good tackle. He's a fantastic guard. He's a great, great guard, but whenever they switch him out to tackle, he would struggle because he's not a tackle. If you keep him at guard and you sign him, you just keep him there, he's going to end up being I think at least one of the 10 best guards in football.
Only 27.
Just don't put him at tackle for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason. The Giants just could never stay healthy or find a working offensive line combination, but when he was at guard, he was one of the best guards in all of football. I have a lot of Giants fans who are friends of mine, all they talk about is how aggravated they were whenever McAdoo would put him at right tackle. And he would just struggle. He would get blown off the ball in pass coverage. He couldn't do anything in the run game, but you put him at guard, you let him pull, you let him pick, and he does fantastic stuff. I think whatever team picks him up, put him at guard and don't move him. I'm sick of him moving around.
All right, so you see the teams likely interested. The Jaguars, they need help on that line. You have the Colts as well, Miami Dolphins too. So Justin Pugh at number 2. So our most prized free agent offensive lineman is one Andrew Norwell, somebody I have talked about many of times on my shows in the mornings. And look, this guy is fantastic. He's going to be the highly coveted offensive lineman in free agency, and he's going to get paid big time.
Yeah, he's going to get paid big time. It will be really interesting to see where he ends up because, as you talked about on your show, the Panthers don't have a lot of money to pay him with. So where is he going to end up going? I would love to see him get picked up by the 49ers. Just have that consistent road grader, in the middle of that offensive line. Have him protect Jimmy G for a long time. He's still decently young. He still has a lot of football left to play. He's great in pass coverage, great in the run, was a first-team All-Pro this year as well. I think he'd be a perfect guy to sit next to Kilgore, who they just signed to an extension today, like we mentioned before. He's going to be a great pickup for whatever team, but watch out. He's going to be coveted by a lot of teams looking to shore up their offensive line. You know, we have the Colts listed there, 49ers, Texans, Jets as well. So Andrew Norwell probably going to get the biggest contract of any offensive lineman this offseason. Wouldn't be surprised if he heads out west.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's the most paid or highest paid guard out there after the new league year is all said and done and everybody has signed with their new team. So Andrew Norwell is our top offensive lineman among free agents. Let's summarize our list here. 10 through 6, Cameron Fleming, Joe Berger, Josh Kline, John Sullivan, and Weston Richburg. And then the top 5, Nate Solder, Jajuan James, Jack Mewhort, Justin Pugh, and Andrew Norwell.